Yo, what is up guys? It's Pedro here, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking about 5 players that have disappointed during Washington football training camp. Also guys, real quick, thank you guys so much for 3,000 subscribers. I really appreciate it. So if you guys are new, subscribe for Washington and NFL content. So let's get right into the video. Also guys, just because I put a player on this list does not mean he didn't play well in training camp. It just means that they didn't live up to their expectations. So let's get started with the first player. And the first player is Reuben Foster. So Reuben Foster, including me, I thought that he was going to be a key part to this defense. I thought after we put him on or took him off the PUP list, I thought he was going to be able to be our starting middle linebacker because I thought he was fully healthy, but it turns out that it is not the case. Reuben Foster during this training camp has been on a snap count at least initially, and he also was running with the third team for a majority of the time, with the second team a little bit, but almost every single linebacker was running with the first team and the second team, and Foster wasn't. So that is concerning right there, that he isn't getting any first team reps. He's pretty much just easing himself into it, and I think we're gonna probably have to put him on IR to start the season, just so we can keep him and he doesn't count towards the 53-man roster. This is what John Keim had to say about it. This was on his podcast. You guys can go listen to that, but I pretty much quoted him from this. So he said he thinks that Reuben Foster will either be cut or placed on IR. He says he hasn't stood out and has been working with the 3. So if he is placed on IR, I think that's the best thing we should do. And I think that's the most likely thing, because if we put him on IR, we can bring him back within, I think it's after 8 weeks, and he can still play for us in the middle of the season, but he can still ease back in from that injury, because that injury was no joke. He tore his ACL, had some, I think it was MCL or LCL also, and he had nerve damage. Someone who had a similar injury to him was Jalen Smith on the Cowboys, and it took him about 2 years to recover. So I think it's going to take a little bit longer for Reuben Foster to recover. I just hope he can show it this season, because we didn't pick up his 5th-year options. So he has to show it this season if we want to probably bring him back. That's just my opinion, though. We'll see how he does. I want to hear what you guys think about Reuben Foster, if you guys think he's going to make the team, and what you guys think about his performance in training camp. Again, not saying he's going to be bad or that he has been playing bad. It's because of his injury that he hasn't been playing to his potential. So the next player on this list, this is an obvious one, Sean Davis. Sean Davis has not played well at all, and we gave him a pretty big deal, especially for the player that he is. We gave him a 1-year, $5 million deal for him to essentially be the backup free safety. Troy Apke has absolutely dominated him in training camp. Sean Davis has pretty much gotten 0 first team reps when he was a projected starter by a lot of people, and Troy Apke has gotten all the first team reps. Sean Davis, we got, like I said, we gave him a 1-year, $5 million deal, played at Pittsburgh last year, and really hasn't done anything in training camp. We almost haven't heard anything about him, at least his on the field play. This is one of the only things I heard, so I wanted to show you guys. He said Sean Davis drops, or John Keim said Sean Davis drops a Smith overthrow, so he dropped a pick. That's nothing huge right there, but it just shows he hasn't been playing great in training camp, especially for the projected starter. Now, obviously, we know Troy Apke is going to be the starter, but it brings up the question. You got Cameron Curl. I don't think Sean Davis gets cut, but still, we gave him a lot of money for him to be the backup free safety. We'll see how he does, because he does have potential. He did have a good year in Pittsburgh. I think his first and second year, so we'll see what happens with that, but I hope he can contribute to this defense. So the next player on this list is Bryce Love. And before you guys say anything that he actually has been playing good, let me read this to you guys. This is directly from a source within the Washington franchise. Ben Standig said this in his Athletic article. Washington may keep 4 backs on the game day roster since Turner's system uses plenty of 2-back sets. If the decision is only 3, it's Peterson, Gibson, and McKissick. So pretty much saying that he's the 4th/5th running back. And again, it all comes down to his injury. He's coming off an injury, so he played decent initially and was getting some first-team reps. But in the last week or so, the last week of training camp, everyone was getting first-team reps except for Bryce Love. And JP Finley, John Keim have been talking about this, and Ron Rivera. He's kind of been on a plateau. He started off decent, but he hasn't really gotten better. He's kind of hit a wall, and that is to be expected, guys. Remember, he tore his ACL, so it's going to take him longer than most players to come back or to get acclimated. And remember, it's been a short offseason. I do still think he makes the roster. John Keim thinks he's running back 5, though. He thinks that Peyton Barber, they really like him, so Peyton Barber is going to make the roster. I think it's going to be AP, Gibson, McKissick, Barber, and Love. I think Love might initially be inactive on game days, but I think by week 8, week 9, once he gets fully back to normal, I really think he's going to start to make an impact, and by the end of the season, could be getting significant playing time. But don't worry about Love. The only reason I'm saying that he's disappointed a little bit is he's gotten the least amount of first-team reps, but again, that is to be expected because of his injury. I do think he is going to bounce back. So those are really the 3 that I think truly kind of disappointed. More Sean Davis and Reuben Foster. Love has disappointed of late, but I think he's going to come back. The next player is kind of it was the only other player I could somewhat find, and it's Antonio Gandy-Golden. And he's a rookie, but some people had crazy expectations for him, thought he was going to start on the outside and get over 1,000 yards or 800 yards. I think Dontrell Inman is probably going to start on the outside, opposite of Terry McLaurin. And Gandy-Golden, he's done okay. He's been a better than average blocker for Washington so far in training camp, but he hasn't been doing great at making some contested catches. He's had a couple of drops. He also has had a couple great passes. I don't think he's disappointed a lot. I think it's just slightly, but again, I think if he would have had if he would have had a full offseason, including preseason games, rookie mini camp, and OTAs, I think he would be a lot further along. I still think Antonio Gandy-Golden is going to be a seriously really good player for us in the future. It's just going to take time, and I think maybe it's kind of going to be like a Kelvin Harmon / Steven Sims situation from last year, where they started off slow but kind of picked up at the end of the season. I think that's going to be same for Antonio Gandy-Golden. Maybe only gets 200 yards the first 6 games of the season, first 8 games of the season, but maybe this last 8 he gets 400, something like that. I think he could come on at the end of the season, do really good. That's just my opinion right there. I want to hear what you guys think. Not necessarily disappointed, but he hasn't played really well right there. Okay, so that is it right there. The last player that kind of has disappointed is Wes Martin, but I think he's come on as of late. JP Finley said that Wes Martin, in the beginning, he thought he was going to be the surefire starter, but as of late, or on Saturday, Wes Martin wasn't starting at left guard. It was Joshua Garnett and Chase Roulier. We'll see how that develops, but Wes Martin, and also Ron Rivera called him out earlier in front of the whole team, so we'll see how that plays out. I think Wes Martin, he kind of had some high expectations this year, and we'll see. He should still be the starter, but hopefully he can play at least at a decent starting guard level. Some other players that I kind of thought could go on this list is Sadiq Charles, but obviously he hasn't played, so I couldn't really put him on this list. And that's it. Really, Sean Davis and Reuben Foster have been the really true ones that have disappointed in my eyes. Bryce Love somewhat, because I kind of thought he was going to be that 1-2 punch with AP, but it might take some time, but I think he will get there. Same with Antonio Gandy-Golden. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please smash the like button, subscribe if you guys are new, turn on those post notifications, and thank you guys so much for 3,000 subscribers.